Now secondly we give a personalized attention to each and every student क्योंकि हमारे बैच में maximum 6 students होता है, not more than that. This helps the teacher also to keep an eye on the student, how they are progressing, where they are lagging and all, and definitely we will give you the feedback so that you can improve yourself, and definitely it will be helpful for the student also. Like the student can also ask any sort of doubt very frankly to the teacher related to the topic, definitely in a very smooth way. There will be no chaos at all. Right now, coming to the third thing, we have a very good dedicated academic mentor team who continuously keep a track on the students' progress, and uh, according to that you will also get the feedback and you will come to know where you were lagging and you can improve, right? And fourthly, that is very important, that we cover the syllabus as per your school examination schedule. Like you have a topic which is coming in your school examination, so you can tell it to us, we will do those topics first and then we will move on to the rest of the topic. So this type of custom request generally we handle. So these are all about Swiflearn, about the general features of Swiflearn basically. Now let us move on to the key features. So क्यों आपको लगता है कि Swiflearn is different from any other platform? क्योंकि फर्स्ट हमारे पास जो है दैट इज वी मेंटेन अ डिटेल प्रोग्रेस रिपोर्ट ऑफ ईच एंड एवरी स्टूडेंट, एंड दिस प्रोग्रेस रिपोर्ट विल बी गिवन टू यू इन सर्टेन इंटरवल, और उसके ऊपर पीटीएम भी होगा, जैसे आपके स्कूल में भी पीटीएम होता है, ये स्विफ्टलर्न में भी पीटीएम होता है, वेर यू विल बी एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड वेर यू आर लैगिंग, इन विच पैरामीटर्स यू हैव टू improve, and this will help you to improve. ठीक है. Secondly, we have the SAT, which is known as the Swiflearn Academic Test Series, which happen every Sunday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., where you will be able to understand what is your rank all over India. Okay, and third and the fourth most important thing is that we have unlimited practice test series, the assessments, the mock test, monthly tests are also there, the different types of questions are also there, like the objective as well as the subjective. So you need to practice after revising the chapter, right? You can solve the question answer again and again so that your concept will be totally clear, right? So for that you have to select the you have to choose the trial class and book it and do the trial with us now and enroll your name in our regular batches, right? And for those who have not subscribed our channel, please subscribe it now and press the bell icon so that we you will not miss any of the update of the upcoming sessions, and you will always be there with us in all the sessions of YouTube. Okay, so also do not forget to like, comment and share. चलो, तो हम अभी चलते हैं हमारे आज के टॉपिक में. As you already know, you can see on your screen that today we will study about the circulatory system, जो हमारे class 10th के syllabus में है ICSE board में, right? Hi Niraj, how are you? Okay, so the circulatory system, we have already studied a little bit about what is the circulatory system. ये circulatory system में होता क्या है? What is the blood? That is the main medium of the circulatory system, which is basically circulating or transporting the different things within our body, as well as we have also studied about the protective function of the blood. जैसे blood के अंदर WBC रहते हैं, वो प्रोटेक्ट करते हैं, कोई भी जर्म्स अगर हमारे बॉडी में आ जाएंगे तो उधर से प्रोटेक्ट करते हैं, as well as we also have the platelet which helps in clotting of the blood, right? So these are the different things which we have already studied in the previous session. So in today's session basically we will study about the blood vessels, the blood transfusion, the blood group and the heart. So very important, that is the main organ of our circulatory system is the heart, right? We already know that. So heart is what? It is a pumping organ, right? So what are the different things which are present within the heart? We will study in detail. कैसे blood transfusion होता है? We will study in detail. And when do you think that this blood transfusion takes place? We will see that. Then we will move on to the ब्लड ग्रुप. तो हमारे पास कितना ब्लड ग्रुप हो सकता है, मतलब all over the human population how many different types of blood groups are present, या वो प्रेजेंट रहता है, वो हम देखेंगे, and how the blood flows within our body. So basically we have the three types of blood vessels, so we will study about those three types of blood vessels through which the blood passes or the blood flows from one part to the another part of our body. ठीक है ना? Are you all ready? Yes. And also you, as you already know, that whoever will give me most of the answer in the chat box, he or she will be the student of the session. ठीक है, और उसके नाम मैं लास्ट में स्क्रीन में लिखूंगी. ठीक है, चलो. So let me give you one question at the beginning of the session. ठीक है, तो how many chambers are there in our heart, in human heart? Specifically in human heart, how many chambers are there? Quickly type it in the chat box and let me see who can give me the correct answer. Okay. So in the meantime, let us now focus on the blood donation. तो blood donation के बारे में आपने कभी सुना है या फिर आपने कभी blood donate किया है? Yes. Or have you ever seen anybody from your family, कोई भी family member blood donate करते हैं? या फिर you have also heard about the blood donation camp in the different localities, right? So क्या होता है actually ये blood donation camp में? Yes. So do you think that we can give the blood to anybody? Like randomly we can choose the person, आप अपना अपना blood दो और आपका blood उसमें जाएगा. ऐसे हम randomly choose कर सकते हैं क्या? कर सकते हैं? नहीं ना. तो we have to be very much specific about किस तरीके का blood है. मतलब ये blood group क्या है? And then only this blood donation will be very much specific and we can donate the blood, right? So ये जो donate कर रही हूँ ना blood, so it is going from one person to another. This is also known as the blood transfusion. It is nothing but a very easy medical procedure जहाँ क्या होता है, one person will donate the blood and another person will receive the blood. Very simple as that. But always keep it in mind कि दोनों person का blood का group obviously match होना चाहिए. Okay, otherwise what will happen, the blood clot will happen within the recipient's blood vessels and definitely it can lead to death. Okay, so ये जो blood देते हैं मतलब donate करते हैं, we can call him or her as a blood donor, and जो blood को receive करते हैं, that person is known as the recipient. Okay, so the process is known as the blood transfusion. It is going from the donor to the recipient and it happens only if the blood matches. Clear hai? Now let us see a video and then we will go to the blood group. Let us see with the help of a video now.
Imagine you've been involved in an accident. You're bleeding and are rushed to hospital. Thankfully, you're given a blood transfusion to replace your lost blood. But you can't just have blood from any old donor. In fact, when doctors first attempted blood transfusions in the 17th century, they were unsuccessful and patients died. How do medical teams now know what blood to give to which patient? Different people have different blood types or groups. You can be either O, B, A, or AB. If you're given a blood transfusion, you must have blood which is compatible with your blood type. So if you're one of the AB blood groups, you can receive blood from all or lots of donors. Whereas if you're blood type O, you can only receive blood from other O's. Or if you're O negative, you can only receive blood from other O negative donors. But what makes blood into the different types? The type O, B, A or AB depends on little molecules called antigens that are found on the surface of the red blood cell. The antigens can be one of four options: A antigens, B antigens, both A and B antigens, or there may be no antigens. As you can see, the type of antigens you have determines which blood type you are. See how type O doesn't have any antigens? That's why it's the special blood type that can be donated to everyone else. It's known as the universal donor. Antigens trigger an immune response, in which your body tries to get rid of them as it thinks they're foreign and bad. Because blood type O doesn't have any antigens on its surface, this means that when type O is donated to people from other blood groups, the recipient's body doesn't recognize them as foreign, and so don't try to fight them off, which is why no antigen O is the universal donor. Which type of antigen is presented on your red blood cells is determined through inheritance. You inherit one copy of the antigen gene type, or allele, from your mother, and one from your father to give you your genes, which then determines your blood type. See here how AO and BO end up as blood types A or B. That's because the allele from the antigens A and the allele from the antigens B are both dominant over the allele for no antigens O. Whereas see here, if you have one parent as A and the other as B, so you have genes AB, then you'd be blood group AB. This is an example of codominance, which we learn about more in detail in this video. To have blood group O, you need your genes to be OO, and so both of your parents must also be O's. This is because the O allele is recessive. Despite being recessive, blood group O is the most common around the world. In summary, our blood group is determined by the presence or absence of A and B antigens on our red blood cells, which are inherited from our parents. The blood group you are also determines who you can receive blood donations from and who you can donate blood to. And thankfully, now that doctors understand this, patients can safely receive life-saving blood transfusions.
If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget.
Okay, so I guess you already got an idea about what do you mean by the blood group and how the blood group depends upon what are the different alleles which are present, right? So basically this blood group depends upon the different antigens which are present in our RBC. Fine. Hi Dhruv beta, how are you? Okay, so this blood grouping system in human body is known as ABO system. So how this A, B and O system is forming? It was first discovered by Carl Landsteiner. Always remember in 1900 AD, he first discovered this ABO system. Okay, let me write down the name of the scientist. Carl Landsteiner in 1900 AD, he first discovered this ABO system in the human blood. So this total ABO system depends upon the presence and absence of the antigens. Fine. So what are the different antigens which can be present in the human blood? It can be A or B, or sometimes both A and B, and sometimes not at all any antigen on the red blood cells. So always keep it in mind that these antigens are present in the red blood cells. Okay, RBC में रहता है. Okay, now let us see what are the different blood group which can be present in the human being. So there can be the four types of blood group: A, B, AB and O. You can see over here that AB matlab either antigen A and B, both of them are present. Okay, antigen O, sorry, blood group O में रहता है no antigen at all. Okay, blood group A में रहता है the antigen A and blood group B में रहता है antigen B. Other than this, agglutinin, that is the antibodies, are also present. It depends upon what are the different antibodies which are present within the blood group. That is, the antibodies are basically present on the plasma, जहाँ AB blood group में कोई भी antibodies present नहीं होता. O blood group में alpha and beta both antibodies are present. A antigen में A blood group में beta antibody produce होता है and B blood group में alpha antibodies रहता है. Okay, so forget about the antibodies, just I have given you the idea what are the antibodies and how it is present in the different blood groups. But remember always about the antigens which are present in the red blood cells, and the presence of all these antigens will give the specific blood group to the human being. Okay, now other than this antigen, there is another factor which is known as the rhesus factor. It was named about rhesus or Rh factor on the name of the monkey. Have you ever heard about the rhesus monkey? Yes. So it was first tested and discovered from the rhesus monkey. The similar type of factor is also present in the human being. So that is why this factor is named as the rhesus factor. And this is nothing but we call this blood group as the positive or negative, right? So always keep it in mind कि जब rhesus factor रहता है तो हम उसी blood group को positive blood group कहते हैं. जैसे we can say that when the rhesus factor is present, our blood group will be A positive, B positive, AB positive or O positive. ठीक है? और जब rhesus factor नहीं रहता है मतलब absent है blood group में, then we will say that those as A negative, B negative, AB negative and O negative. Clear? So dependent upon the presence and the absence of this rhesus factor, we can determine whether we are having the A positive or B positive as a blood group. ठीक है? Yes. So total कितने number of blood groups can be present now? We have already seen that A, B and O, ये तो 4 हो गया. और अभी पॉजिटिव नेगेटिव को हम अगर देखेंगे तो A पॉजिटिव, B पॉजिटिव, AB पॉजिटिव, O नेगेटिव. अभी A नेगेटिव, B नेगेटिव, AB नेगेटिव और O नेगेटिव. तो कितना टोटल हुआ? 8 types of blood group can be present, can be possible within the human population. Okay, so it creates the 8 most common types of blood group. And always remember, as जैसे आपने वीडियो में भी देखा, that is the this O will be the universal donor and AB is the universal recipient. ठीक है, मतलब O सबसे ब्लड सबको ब्लड दे सकते हैं और AB सबसे ब्लड ले सकते हैं. Understood? Now let us see who can be the donor to which recipient. So you can see over here the donor and these are the recipients, right? So the blood group A can give the blood group, the blood transfusion can be done to any recipient having blood group A as well as blood group AB, क्योंकि A antigen AB दोनों में है, इधर भी A antigen है, right? So if the antigen doesn't matches, then what will happen? Blood clot will take place, or we can say that it will not, it will fight with the blood group and there will be no compatibility, right? सेकेंडली बी ब्लड ग्रुप जब हम देख रहे हैं तो बी ब्लड ग्रुप का पर्सन किसको ब्लड दे सकते हैं? when the recipient is B and also when the recipient is AB. Fine, because the AB person is also having the B antigen. Remember. Coming to the AB, so AB donor किसको blood दे सकते हैं? Only AB को ही दे सकते हैं, nobody else. And coming to the O, तो O blood group is not having any antigen, है ना? इसके पास तो कोई भी एंटीजन नहीं है, ए भी नहीं है, बी भी नहीं है, तो ये सबको दे सकता है. दैट इज वाई. ओके, सो इट कैन गिव इट टू ए बी एंड ओ, all of them. So that is why we can call that O is known as the blood group O persons are the universal donor and blood group AB is the universal recipient. Okay, so blood transfusion ke time pe we have to very much sincere about it ki which blood group is going to like the person who is the donor is giving which blood group and the person of the who is the recipient will be able to take that blood group or not. So matching of the blood group is very much important. ठीक है, अभी O negative is the universal donor and AB negative is the universal recipient. Sorry, AB positive should be the universal recipient. Okay, so this is all about the blood group and let us now move on to the blood circulatory system. So circulatory system में blood is the medium as we already know. कोई हमें बोल सकता है कि प्लांट बॉडी में भी तो सर्कुलेशन होता है, उधर भी तो वाटर एंड मिनरल्स आर गोइंग एंड आल्सो द फूड इज ट्रांसलोकेटिंग फ्रॉम द लीव्स टू ऑल द डिफरेंट पार्ट्स ऑफ द प्लांट बॉडी. सो what do you think that which will be the medium of transportation in plants? Quickly give me the answer. Which should be the medium of transportation in plants? जैसे हमारे बॉडी में या फिर एनिमल बॉडी में medium of transportation is blood. Okay, blood is the fluid connective tissue. We have already studied in the previous session कि ये fluid connective tissue है जो carry करके ले जाते हैं सारे materials को from one part to another part of our body. So plant के एक part से दूसरे part तक कौन लेके जाते हैं different things? Let us see who can give me the answer. In the meantime, let us now start with the different things which are present in the circulatory system. First is the heart. Second is the blood vessels and third is the blood. We already know, right? So blood तो हमने already पढ़ चुके हैं last session में, तो आज हम heart और blood vessels को देखेंगे. Right, so there are again the three different types of blood vessels. What are the three different types of blood vessels? Arteries, veins and capillaries. Okay, so there are three different types of blood vessels, that is arteries, veins and capillaries. How they are interconnecting with each other, what are the different types of blood they are carrying, all we will see in the circulatory system in detail. And heart is what? It is the pumping organ. जैसे क्या होता है आपके घर में, कभी आपका मम्मा या पापा बोलते हैं कि पंप चला दो. Yes. So what do? You just go and switch on the pump so that the pump will help the water to go from your reservoir to the upper tank, right? and whenever you will just open the tap, you will get the supply of the water in all the tap, whether it is in the washroom or kitchen or wherever it is, right? So similar type of thing happens inside our body also. कौन पंप करते हैं इधर हमारे घर में? तो एक पंपिंग मशीन रहता है which basically pump the blood to all the different parts of the body. But in case of our body, who will pump the blood, or who will pump the whole thing, all the substances to all the different parts of our body? Definitely it will be the heart, right? So the heart will pump the blood to distribute everything to all the different parts of the body. Now let us see what is the position of the heart. तो आप आपके चेस्ट में हाथ रखो और देखो, where do you find the heart beat, या फिर थोड़ा सा लब डब एक वाइब्रेशन आ रहे हैं, कौन से साइड में आ रहे हैं? Generally we feel it in the left side, but always remember that heart is not in the left side, it is present in the middle. Okay, it is present in the center. There are two lungs and in between the heart is present, और उसके नीचे रहता है diaphragm. If I want to show you the picture, so let me draw a very rough sketch. So this is one lung, this is another lung, this is left lung, and let it be the right lung, a little bit larger than the left. Okay, and the heart is basically present in this region, okay, in between, but it is a little bit tilted towards the left, so ये थोड़ा सा इधर की तरफ tilted रहता है. That is why we can see that, we can feel that heartbeat in the left hand side, and just beneath the heart and the lungs, who is present? The bent or the muscular structure, which we generally call as the diaphragm. Okay, this is known as the diaphragm. Up to this much clear? So the position of the heart is clear? Yes. Okay. Now what will be the size of the heart? So आपको क्या लगता है, आपका हार्ट का साइज कितना बड़ा है? इतना छोटा है या फिर इतना बड़ा है? Yes, it's very simple, just make a fist. Yes, your heart will be the same, equal to your fist size. Okay, मेरा हार्ट तो इतना तक है. Okay, so always remember the size of the heart is nothing but it is the similar to that of the size of the fist. And आप अगर लेंथ में देखोगे तो approximately 12 सेंटीमीटर आएगा, और उसका width अगर देखोगे तो 9 सेंटीमीटर आएगा. ठीक है, so this is nothing but the heart. Now this is a very good picture of heart, so let me introduce all the different things of the heart which are present inside our body. Okay, so first of all, this heart is covered with a double membrane structure which is known as the pericardium. Okay, very important thing is that, what do you mean by pericardium, or what is the name of the covering of the heart? This type of question may come for 1 mark, so always remember it is known as the pericardium. If I talk about the lungs, so lung is also covered with a membrane which is known as the pleura. Okay, just remember. Fine, or you can note it down. These are the extra informations. Okay, you can see over here how many chambers are there. Yes, generally human heart has 4 chambers. Yes, so if you think about the heart of the fish का heart का कितना chambers रहता है? 2 chambers. Okay, now if you talk about the amphibians, a frog or a tadpole, उसका हार्ट का कितना चेम्बर्स रहता है? Yes, 3 chambered heart. If you talk about the reptiles like the snakes and all, they basically have 3.5 chambers. And if you talk about the reptile, that is crocodile, they, like us, have the 4 chambered heart. Okay, that division or the half chamber is totally covered or fulfilled. Now talking about the birds and mammals. Mammals मतलब हम तो mammals के अंदर ही आते हैं, right? And the birds, whichever birds you can see, all the birds and mammals will have the 4 chambered heart. So हमारे heart में कितना chambers होता है? Quickly tell me in the chat box. Yes, quickly. How many chambers are there in our heart? It is 4 chambers. Yes. Now, what are the name of these chambers? So, देखो, this is chamber number 1, chamber number 2, chamber number 3, chamber number 4. So these are the 4 chambers. Okay. So basically they are known as the right atrium. इसके नीचे रहता है right ventricle. इधर रहता है left atrium और उसके नीचे रहता है left ventricle. So these are the 4 names of the chambers of human heart. फाइन. तो ऊपर का चेम्बर्स का नाम है ऑरिकल्स और एट्रियम, बोथ आर सेम. और नीचे का चेम्बर्स का नाम रहता है वेंट्रिकल्स. जस्ट हैव अ लुक ओवर हियर. Okay, I will again explain you what are they, how they are receiving the blood and all, everything I will explain. Now you can see that there are different types of veins. Okay, the veins which are carrying the blood inside the heart. One of it is the superior vena cava और नीचे जो रहता है वो inferior vena cava रहता है. How will you remember this superior and inferior? Yes, superior मतलब जो सबसे ऊपर रहता है, super है जो, ठीक है. और inferior मतलब जो नीचे रहता है. Okay, inferior में रहता है. Understood? Now ये inferior और superior ऐसे नाम क्यों दिया गया है? Do you know? Because the inferior vena cava is carrying the blood, is taking the blood from the lower portion of our body, और superior vena cava जो है वो upper portion of the body से blood को लेके आते हैं, the deoxygenated blood को लेके आते हैं from the head region, neck region, brain and all, facial region and all. Understood? तो इसीलिए इसको superior और inferior region कहते हैं. Okay, vena cava कहते हैं. Next, there are the arteries like the pulmonary artery. There are the different veins which are pulmonary veins. There is the aorta and there is the aorta. But these are all the different types of arteries and veins which are present. Hi Purnima. Yes, beta, I will explain everything again. So I'm just giving you the terms related to the heart. Okay, so there are 4 chambers. As you can see, the upper chambers are the atrium, lower chambers are the ventricles. Now superior or inferior vena cava are there. Superior vena cava at the top, inferior vena cava from the downside. Okay, it is carrying the blood towards the heart. Then we can see that there are the pulmonary artery, pulmonary veins, aorta. These are the different types of arteries and veins. Okay, and there are also the different types of valves, जैसे tricuspid valve, bicuspid valve और उसका नाम mitral valve है, then aortic valve, pulmonary valves. These are the valves. So what are these? I will explain all of them one by one. So before going to the explanation of the human heart, let us now see a video.
You should already know the structure of the heart. Before we look at how the heart actually works, you may want to refresh your memory of the different parts by watching this video first. The main job description of this muscular organ is to pump oxygenated blood throughout your body, from the top of your brain to the tips of your toes. In fact, your heart transports all your blood around your body about 1,000 times a day. Let's look at how this happens. A main function of blood is to transport oxygen to cells in your body. The role is carried out by red blood cells, which contain an important protein called hemoglobin. So when we breathe in, oxygen latches onto an active site on the hemoglobin in the red blood cells that contains a single iron atom. We can think of it like a seat on a shuttle bus. The oxygen molecules must first find their seat and put their seatbelts on before the bus can move. Once the bus gets moving, the oxygen molecules are released when they reach their destination, which could be anywhere in your body. The deoxygenated blood, as an empty shuttle bus, returns to your heart. So, the deoxygenated blood has arrived at the heart. Remember that the heart has 4 chambers: the right atrium, the right ventricle, the left atrium, and the left ventricle, each with its own specific role. These chambers are separated by valves, which act as floodgates, ensuring that blood only flows in one direction. travelling back from all around our bodies. The deoxygenated blood returns to the right atrium of your heart via two veins, the superior vena cava, if it's coming from the upper part of your body, and the inferior vena cava if it's from the lower part. The blood then passes through the tricuspid valve into the right ventricle. The tricuspid valve acts as a special gate designed so that the deoxygenated blood can only flow onwards into the right ventricle. When the right ventricle contracts, it forces this deoxygenated blood through the pulmonary valve into the pulmonary artery, which branches out into the right and left lungs. Talk about an efficient system. The deoxygenated blood flows through the lungs, becomes oxygenated, and then returns to the heart. Like the pulmonary arteries, there are two pulmonary veins, one from the right lung and the other from the left. Both work together to bring in the freshly oxygenated blood, which enters into the left atrium of the heart. The blood doesn't stay there for long, as it enters the left ventricle via the mitral valve, which is also known as the bicuspid valve. Like all other valves before it, the mitral or bicuspid valve is designed to ensure one direction blood flow. The real magic happens in the left ventricle. When it contracts powerfully, this sends the new oxygenated blood through the aortic valve into the aorta. And then off the oxygenated blood goes all around your body. As you can see, this oxygen delivery system is highly efficient. All four chambers of the heart and their associated veins, arteries and valves work as a team to ensure all cells in your body receive their much needed oxygen. Maybe you've heard your heart described as a dual pump. The first pump is the blood going from the heart to your lungs, and the second bigger pump sends the oxygenated blood all around your body. On top of the right atrium is a natural pacemaker called a sinoatrial node. This produces an electrical impulse or signal to the atrioventricular node, which is found in between the atria and ventricles of your heart. The electrical conduction ensures the proper functioning of your heart. In some individuals, this system doesn't work perfectly, and so they can be fitted with a pacemaker to ensure the electrical impulses control the heartbeat properly. To learn more about your heartbeat and your pulse, watch this video. What a clever system! All components working together in sync, passing the baton like a relay
If you
team.
liked the video, give it a thumbs up.
Yes. So you already have an idea like how the heart pumping is happening. Yes. And how the different blood is distributed to all the different parts of the body, right? Now let us now move on to the different parts of the heart. First, we will study about the different chambers which are present, right? So how many chambers are present in our heart? Four. So upper two chambers are known as the atrium, or singular name is the atrium and the plural name is the atria, or we can also call them as the auricles. Okay, we can also call it as the auricles. And coming to the lower chambers, the two lower chambers are known as the ventricles. So either देखो, if I divide this heart into four chambers like this, so this will be the right atrium. Okay, this will be the right ventricle, उसके नीचे रहेगा right ventricle. So this will be the left atrium and this will be the left ventricle. So these are the four chambers of the human heart. Clear hai? Yes. Now always remember that whenever this one is your left hand side, we have to keep the heart as the right hand side and just the vice versa. Fine. Now what are the function of the atrium? So always remember the atrium is nothing but it is receiving the blood always. So the upper two chambers are always receiving the blood. Okay, so you can see over here the right atrium is connected with the two chambers, that is superior vena cava and नीचे रहता है ये inferior vena cava. So the superior and the inferior vena cava is receiving they are carrying the deoxygenated blood. That means the blood which is having less oxygen and more carbon dioxide, it is carrying this type of blood towards this right atrium. Okay, then after that it will go to the right ventricle. Understood? So atrium basically are carrying the it is receiving the blood. Over here also the left atrium is receiving the heart from the four pulmonary veins. Okay, so these are the pulmonary veins. So there are four pulmonary veins which are coming and they are basically carrying the oxygenated blood. So oxygenated blood मतलब जहाँ oxygen ज़्यादा है और carbon dioxide कम है. So they are carrying all this towards the atrium. So atrium is just receiving the blood. Coming to the ventricles, अभी ventricles है atrium के नीचे. Okay, so both the ventricles are present, the right and the just beneath the right and the left atrium, the right and left ventricles are present. They are also receiving the blood from the atrium, and then when this like contract, they forcefully pump the blood to outside of the heart. So you can see over here that the right ventricle is having one channel that is known as the pulmonary artery. So pulmonary artery is starting from the right ventricle. It is carrying the deoxygenated blood to the two lungs, and within that lungs the oxygenation or the purification of the blood will take place. And similar type of thing happens in case of the left ventricle also. Left ventricle से क्या rise करता है? Aorta, and this aorta is the thickest, or we can say the main artery which will distribute the oxygenated blood to all the different parts of our body. Fine. So your ventricles are nothing but they are pumping the blood to long distances. It pumps the blood to all the different parts of our body. Coming to the blood vessels. So blood vessels entering the heart, first of all, which is entering in the right atrium is known as the anterior and posterior vena cava. अभी anterior vena cava का और एक नाम है, that is the superior vena cava, which I have already said it is superior because it is present at the top. Okay, superior position में, and it basically carry the deoxygenated blood from the upper portion of our body, like the head, chest, arm, the upper portion, right? And the second type of vena cava is the posterior vena cava, or we can also call it as the inferior vena cava because it is present just beneath the heart, we can say. And this brings the blood from all the different region of the body, like abdomen हो सकते हैं, legs हो सकते हैं, the lower part of the body. Okay, there's two superior and the inferior vena cava carries the deoxygenated blood towards the heart. Okay, now over here the left atrium receives the four pulmonary veins. You can see over here the left atrium receives the pulmonary veins. They carry the oxygenated blood towards the heart. Now let us see a 3D structure of the heart. This is the heart. You can see this is the aorta, right? The largest artery in the body. The second one is the pulmonary artery, which is carrying the blood to the two lungs. Third is the superior vena cava, which is carrying the deoxygenated blood towards the right auricle. Fourth is the pulmonary veins, which are basically carrying the oxygenated blood from the lungs towards the left auricle. And the fifth is the inferior vena cava, which is carrying the deoxygenated blood from the lower part of the body towards the heart. Clear hai? Yes? Okay, let us now move on to the different parts of the heart. Now, what are the different blood vessels which are leaving the heart? वो दोनों blood vessels तो receive करके ले आ रहे हैं blood को towards the heart. What are the blood vessels which are leaving the heart? One is the pulmonary artery and the second one is the aorta. Fine. So the pulmonary artery is carrying the deoxygenated blood from the right ventricle to the lungs, and they're carrying this blood so that oxygenation or purification of the blood will take place within the lungs. And aorta basically arise from the left ventricle. They carry the oxygenated blood to give it to all the different parts of the body so that oxygen will be received by each and every cells of our body. Fine. Now there are two more coronary arteries, the arteries which are present along with the heart, which supply the blood to the heart muscles. Clear hai? Now let us move on to the valves. What do you mean by valve? Have you ever heard of that? The taps also have the valve. Yes. Whenever you just open the tap, you can see that the water comes out. Hi Dev, how are you? Hi Kamali. Yes. But have you ever seen that the water is going inside the tap in the reverse direction? No, na. Similarly, it is present because it happens because of the presence of the valve. Similar type of thing happens inside our circulatory system also. Okay, so what happened over here also, the valves are present in many openings. Okay, it may be present in the opening or the mm, opening between the right auricle and the right ventricle, or left auricle or left ventricle, or it can be present in the opening of any different types of arteries like the pulmonary artery में रहता है, aorta में रहता है. Okay, so what are these four valves? They are like tricuspid valves which are present in between the right side of the heart. If I draw the heart like this, I'm just drawing a very small, very rough structure. You can see that this is the right auricle, this is the right ventricle, this is the left auricle, and this is the left ventricle, right? So in between the right auricle and right ventricle will be the tricuspid valve. Okay, here is the tricuspid valve. Now, between the left auricle and left ventricle will be the bicuspid valve, or we can also call it as the mitral valve. It is present in between this. Pulmonary valve is present from where the pulmonary artery is opening. So, this is known as a semilunar valve. अभी ये semilunar valve क्यों बोल रहे हैं? Yes, semilunar क्या मतलब? If you just divide this word, semi का मतलब है half, और lunar का मतलब क्या है? Moon. Yes, so you have also heard about the lunar eclipse, right? So this valves looks like the half moon structure like this, and that is why these are known as the semilunar valve. So one of the semilunar valves present at the base of the, or at the opening of the pulmonary artery, and another is present at the opening of the aorta. Okay, at the opening of the aorta. So these are the four different types of valves. अभी ये जो valves के बारे में हमने देखा, तो what is the main function of the valves? Valves क्यों रहता है इधर? Because it helps the blood to flow only in one direction. It prevents the backflow of the blood. Obviously, whatever blood is flowing inside our body, it should flow in a proper direction, right? ये एक ही direction में flow करना होगा, and it should not go back to the in the backward direction, right? So these valves help the blood to flow in one direction. Fine. So this is the whole circulation of blood inside our heart. So you can see over here, the superior vena cava and the inferior vena cava are carrying the deoxygenated blood in the right atrium. By opening the tricuspid valve, this blood will go to the right ventricle. Then from the right ventricle arises the pulmonary artery. So it will carry it by the pulmonary artery, and it will be supplied to the two lungs. अभी lungs में जाने के बाद blood का क्या होगा? It will be purified. मतलब वो कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड को दे देंगे और ऑक्सीजन को रिसीव कर लेंगे. कैसे रिसीव करेंगे? Because when we are breathing in, we are breathing the air which is rich in oxygen. So within the lungs there are the alveoli which are in close proximity with all the mm, capillaries. So from the alveoli, the oxygen will go inside the blood capillaries, and in turn the blood capillaries will give out the carbon dioxide. ठीक है, अभी इधर हो जाएगा purification and finally the same blood will again enter into the left atrium with the help of the 4 pulmonary veins. So this is the only vein which carry the oxygenated blood. Always remember, otherwise all the other veins inside our body will carry the deoxygenated blood. ठीक है, and pulmonary artery is also the exception which carries the deoxygenated blood. अदरवाइज हमारे बॉडी में जितना भी आर्टरीज है वो ऑक्सीजनेटेड ब्लड कैरी करते हैं. फाइन. नाउ लेट्स मूव ऑन टू द लेफ्ट ऑट्रियम. अभी लेफ्ट ऑट्रियम से सेम ब्लड नीचे जाएगा लेफ्ट वेंट्रिकल में बाय ओपनिंग द mitral valve, or which is also known as the bicuspid valve, and finally through the aorta by opening the semilunar valve of the aorta it will be going to all the different parts of the body. ऊपर भी जाएगा, नीचे भी जाएगा, it will be distributed to all the different parts of the body, and this whole thing is known as the human circulation. And always remember, as the blood is coming twice inside the heart, human heart, that is why it is known as the double circulation. Fine. Yes. Now let's move on to the heartbeat. Have you ever heard about the heartbeat? Yes, a lub dub sound continuously happens, right? Do you know why does it happen? ये होता है due to the contraction and relaxation of the different chambers. Okay, so it basically when the contraction of the atrium takes place, after that it will be relaxed and the contraction of the ventricles will takes place. And ये जो contraction जब हो रहा है, this phase is known as the systolic phase, or we can call it as the systole. और relaxed जब हो रहा है, that phase is known as the diastolic phase. ये कंटिन्यूअस सिस्टोल डायस्टोल ये होते होते मतलब contraction relaxation will take place, and this will help in opening and closing of the different valves within the heart, which will cause the heartbeat. फाइन. तो हमारे अप्रोक्सीमेटली एक दिन में कितना हार्टबीट हो सकता है? 1,03,680 approximately. Can you imagine? Yes. Now we can see over here, when the systole happens in the arteries, the auricles, the upper chambers are known as the auricles. When the contraction happens, what will happen? The blood will flow directly forcefully into the ventricle. तो ventricle diastole हो जाएगा. अभी उसके बाद ही ventricular systole होगा, मतलब ventricles will be contracted and forcibly the blood will go out of the heart. Definitely from both the ventricles, left hand side से जाएगा to all the different parts of the body, right hand side से जाएगा towards the lungs. Again the same thing will happen. The contraction and relaxation of the auricle and the ventricle will help the blood to pump within the body. Fine. Now put your hand on the chest, and have you do you feel the lub dub sound? आपको पता है क्यों ये प्रोड्यूस हो रहा है या फिर कैसे ये प्रोड्यूस हो रहा है? Yes, it is basically producing due to the presence of the valves. जैसे देखो, first जो लब sound हो रहा है, it is caused due to the closure of the mitral valve and the tricuspid valve. हमारे जो tricuspid और bicuspid valve है, atrium मैं उसको atrioventricular valve भी कह सकते हैं, because these are present in between the atrium and the ventricles, right? So when they closes, suddenly they produce a sound, the first sound which is known as lub. And then the second heart tone we can we can hear when the closure of the pulmonary valves takes place. Pulmonary and the aortic valves takes place, मतलब वो जो semilunar valves जब बंद होता है, the second sound produces. Okay, so this lub dub sound is produced due to the continuous systole and diastole of the different heart chambers, as well as the opening and closing of the different valves. Fine. So each full heartbeat basically contains takes place in 0.85 second. उसमें से 0.15 second होता है systole of atrium, systole of ventricle होता है 0.30 second, and बाकी 40 second will be the relaxed state. Okay, all the chambers will be in a relaxed state. So together the whole sequence of event is known as the cardiac cycle. So I guess you have already got an idea about the cardiac cycle and the heartbeat. Yes. Now sometimes doctors say that there is somebody is recommended to have a pacemaker. So why do you think so? Why the doctors generally say like that? Yes, when there is a very slow heartbeat recorded या फिर irregular heartbeat आ रहे हैं या फिर sometimes normal sometimes बहुत जल्दी आ रहे हैं fast आ रहे हैं या फिर बहुत slow आ रहे हैं, then the doctor recommend the patient to make a surgery, get a surgery, and one pacemaker is the device which is installed within the body, right? ये pacemaker क्या है? It is nothing but the battery operated device which helps the heart to produce the heartbeat in a proper regular rhythm. ओके तो हमारे हार्ट में जिसका पेसमेकर नहीं है डेफिनेटली वी हैव द नेचुरल पेसमेकर और नेचुरल पेसमेकर कहाँ रहता है एट द टॉप ऑफ द राइट atrium it is present which is known as the sinoatrial node. Fine. So sinus node या फिर sinoatrial node is the natural pacemaker which is present, which basically send the electrical impulse to our heart, and that is why the heartbeat is produced. Fine. So whenever there is the irregularity of the heartbeat, इसका मतलब हो सकता है कि the natural pacemaker is not working properly, and the doctors used to prescribe or recommend the patient to get it recovered with an artificial pacemaker by a surgery. Clear hai? Now let's move on to the different types of blood vessels. So we have already completed about the blood, about the heart. Now we will study about the blood vessels. So blood vessels are what? They are the branch of, or we can say the tube-like structures which carry the blood. Okay, it is attached with the heart and it sends the blood to all the different parts of the body. Fine. Now there are three types of blood vessels, that is arteries, veins and capillaries. Okay. Now what type of blood is carried by the arteries, veins and capillaries? We will see. देखो artery का structure देखो, the blood vessels generally transport the oxygenated blood from the heart to the different parts of the body. Fine. So always remember arteries carry the blood away from the heart. ठीक है, इसका स्ट्रक्चर मस्क्यूलर स्ट्रक्चर है, यू कैन सी द मस्क्यूलर स्ट्रक्चर, और ये मस्क्यूलर स्ट्रक्चर है इसीलिए इसका ल्यूमेन मतलब ये सेंट्रल जो कोर प्रोसेस रहता है वो बहुत नैरो होता है. Okay, and the blood flows in which correspond to the ventricular contraction. Ventricle contract करेगा तब वो forcibly arteries में blood flow करते हैं. Just opposite is the veins. Veins carry the deoxygenated blood within our body. Exception is always there, that is the pulmonary vein is the only four veins which carry the oxygenated blood. Otherwise they carry the blood towards the heart. वो deoxygenated blood को towards the heart लेके आते हैं. इधर muscular wall देखो बहुत thin है और ये muscular wall बहुत thin है इसीलिए उसका lumen बहुत wide है. Okay, and the blood flows over here in an uniform motion. Okay, उतना जल्दी इसका नहीं है. Fine. So this is about the arteries and the veins. You can see that the thick wall structure is the artery and the thin wall structure is the vein. And artery के अंदर lumen बहुत छोटा रहता है and veins के अंदर lumen wide रहता है. Okay. Now let's move on to the branches of the arteries and veins. Arteries, when they are going to all the different types of the organs, they are branched into the ultimate branches into the capillaries. But उसके पहले जो branches रहता है arteries का, उसको हम arterioles कहते हैं. Okay, and these arterioles will again break up to form the capillaries. Similarly, veins का आप जो जितना भी branches देख रहे हो, these branches of the veins are known as venules, and finally they will again branch to form the capillaries. So capillaries बहुत thin होता है, rather उसका कोई muscles नहीं होता, वो सिर्फ एक single layered का squamous epithelial cells का होता है. There will be no muscle, it is just single layered structure, and total number of blood capillaries हमारे body में कितना है, it is innumerable. Okay, nobody knows it. Fine. So this capillaries basically enters inside all the organs. They supply the oxygen and carry out the carbon dioxide and remove it. Fine. So what will be the main function of the capillaries? First of all, by diffusion it gives the oxygen to the intercellular fluid. अभी वो intercellular fluid से जाएगा to all the different cells of the body जहाँ respiration होगा. Then secondly, it allows the inward diffusion of the carbon dioxide. अभी carbon dioxide को remove करके cell से remove करके वो लेके चले जाएगा towards the veins. Fine. Thirdly, it allow the inward and outward diffusion of the different substances. ये जो भी यूरिया, हार्मोन, ग्लूकोज और any other different substances होता है, इसका inward flow और outward flow diffusion में help करते हैं. And definitely it allows the WBC to squeeze out through the capillary wall with the help of the amoeboid movement. So these are basically the different functions of the capillaries. So we have already studied about a lot about heart and the blood vessels, and in the previous session we have already completed about the blood. So quickly now give me the answers. I hope you have already understood whatever we have discussed, right? Yes. Quickly give me the answer. The nearest organ to which the heart supplies oxygenated blood. Yes. Oxygenated blood हार्ट को कौन सप्लाई करते हैं? लंग्स करते हैं या फिर हार्ट इटसेल्फ ही करते हैं या फिर स्टमक और स्मॉल इंटेस्टाइन? Quickly give me the answer in the chat box. Yes. Okay, Sagar is telling lung. Basically, हाँ, ऑक्सीजनेटेड ब्लड तो लंग्स में पहले आते हैं, पर हार्ट मसल्स को हार्ट इटसेल्फ ही ऑक्सीजनेटेड ब्लड सप्लाई करते हैं. अंडरस्टूड? Next, the name the four valves which are present within the heart. Quickly, what are the names of the four valves which are present within the heart? Yes. Quick. Let me tell you in the meantime, the function of the valve, they basically helps the blood to flow in one direction only and prevent the backflow of the heart blood. Okay. So what will be the names of the different valves in the heart? So they are bicuspid valve, tricuspid valve, semilunar valves like the pulmonary semilunar and the aortic semilunar valves, right? Yes, so these are the four types of valves which are present in the heart. Next, what do you mean by sinus node? Yes, Niraj, quickly, Sagar, quickly give me the answer. What do you mean by sinus node? Sinus node क्या है? क्यों रहता है? क्या produce करते हैं? Very good, Sagar. The mitral valve, tricuspid valve, pulmonary valve, and aortic valve. Okay, great. So, what is the sinus node? कहाँ रहता है sinus node? Right atrium में. और क्या करते हैं ये sinus node? Yes, it basically start the impulses. It sends the electrical impulses so that a proper rhythmic beating of the heart will take place, right? Upper right chamber, exactly. So the sinus node is present in the upper right chamber. It is a natural pacemaker हम इसको कहते हैं, and it sends the electrical impulse to produce a proper heartbeat. Next is, what are arterioles? We have studied about the arteries, veins and capillaries. So arterioles क्या है? क्या करते हैं? कहाँ रहता है? Then arterioles will again give branches to the capillaries, right? We have already studied about it. So arterioles कहाँ से निकलते हैं? या फिर from where do they produced? Yes. Everyone can answer. Arterioles are those blood vessels. These are also the type of blood vessels which are coming out from the arteries. Arteries branch होके arterioles के बनाते हैं, and from the arterioles there are innumerable branches which breaks up to form the capillaries. Clear? Yes. So let me give you another fact, that is the heart attack generally happens when an artery supplying your blood with supplying your heart with the blood and oxygen becomes blood. अभी block कैसे हो सकता है? It can be the deposition of the fat. Yes, so they form the plaques in the heart's artery, and if the plaque rupture, क्या होगा? Blood clot can form and block the total artery. तो अचानक से ये blood heart attack हो जाते हैं. Understood? Okay. So let it be up to this much. Let us see what we have already studied. So we have studied about the blood transfusion, the different blood groups, the blood vessels, and the heart. So next day we will again meet with another topic. So these are the extra time questions. So do these types of questions, they come in your examination. So be very careful while writing the answer. Please practice this question at home. Okay, let it be your homework. And thank you very much everyone for staying with us. And Sagar, thank you very much for giving me the answers. You were the student of the session, so clap for Sagar for giving the answers. Okay, so Sagar is the student of the session. Okay, fine. So thank you everyone for being with me till the end. We will again meet in the next session. So before going, let me again remind you to subscribe our channel and press the bell icon so that you will never miss any of the update of the upcoming sessions. You can stay and do the session with us every day, and do not forget to like, comment and share also. Okay, so thank you very much. We will again meet in the next session. So take care. Bye bye.